This is great. So, Doc, I wanted to talk to you because we always have incredible conversations together. Of course, we're two right brainers. We're definitely missing our resident left brainer right now, but we want some left brainers to join our conversation. But it's always great to meet you. I am really proud to have met you several times in person here in LA. Actually, I was just going through my document of the intentions, and one of the questions that it says is, who are the top 5 people that you enjoyed having spending time with and enjoying time with? And you were the first one I put in that list. And it's really fun. You definitely, whenever I'm with you, we hang out, we talk. It's full of joy, full of ideas, full of right brain, go in this path and go in the other path, ideas that we're creating. What can we do? What can we create? How can we grow? And that's why we're having this conversation, because we enjoy our conversation so much.
Yes.
And we're both right brainers. We understand all the different roads that our brain goes all the time with the shiny penny syndrome. But the good thing is that those shiny penny that we follow through with our thoughts are all for positive things, are all for our growth, are all
Hmm.
things that actually we actually get to do, because we have thought many things, we have gone different paths, like, oh, this idea or this idea, and we've actually done them, because it's not like any right brainer that we're just thinking and not doing. We
Yes.
actually do it. And this is why we're here today, right? Because we decided we want to do a right brain left brain show, and we want to show how two right brainers speak and how we interact with the left brainers, how the different brain can bring you success with the ideas, and maximizing that skill and that trait that we have as right brainers, the creativity that we have to go from one thought to the other and actually write down how can we harness that right brain that we have to create success in our business and our personal life. And I think we have. I think we have met, we had taken
Yes.
action, and we have met. We said, let's go get together, let's go listen to this music, and we go listen to the music. Let's go have a coffee, and we go have a coffee, go coffee hopping, right?
Definitely coffee hopping, coffee shop hopping.
Yeah, we go coffee shop hopping because they keep on kicking us out of
And
the.
we're not talking about Starbucks. We go to real coffee shops.
Yeah, we go to coffee shops in LA, and they actually kick us out because they close, and then we go to the next one, and then we start talking, and then we stay there. And all the ideas that we talk are really about deconstructing business idea and business models that work, that don't work. And we have our own ideas of, how it could work better, how it could work, and how is that related to our own business, our own past, our own experiences, how that has how have we experienced the same
Yes.
thing in our businesses, right? The failures. We have talked on the phone endlessly, and yeah,
And
and
how we can get out of situations that we place ourselves into. I mean, sometimes we subconsciously put ourselves in situations and don't know that we're in those situations. And it's recognizing that opportunity that to change our scenarios, that we talk about different things that like help us kind of readjust our mindset and say, okay, I'm looking at this from the wrong perspective. How can I look at this in a better way and actually make this more of a successful venture, or something that's more pleasing, or something that's better for ourselves? Yeah.
yeah, optimizing our time, really,
Optimizing. Yep.
energy, optimizing, automating the processes that we have. The chat. I just implemented a chat box, by the way, today in my own website, because I was
Oh,
waiting other ones, and I didn't like it, and I did one, and maybe let's see how it worked. But
how the chat box is working.
yeah, so we'll see. Well, I just implemented a new one on my website to see. But we always talk about these things. Like, we are geeks as well, so we like to share.
Computer's always running with something on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's cool. Like, having you as a friend, as a collaborator, as a business partner, like in JT Fox Zoom calls 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Like, at this point,
5 times a week. Yeah, I don't know.
I think 5 times a week we.
Yeah, if we do his Thursday 11s, 11 a.m.s on their time. If we do his Thursday ones and his Saturday ones, yeah, it's 5 times a week.
5 times a week.
and
Plus,
then Clubhouse for another 6, you
then
know.
we have the popcorns, and then we have the rooms and the rooms that
The Sunday room. Yeah.
our own rooms that we join,
Yes.
listen to each other.
Forgot
Uh,
about those too.
so we are on it online all the time, and I think you are a bunch of joy. You're a bunch of fun, and you more people need to have a doc in their life.
You're
So
filling my heart with so much love. I thank you so much. And you know, I wouldn't, I don't think I would be as around if I wasn't receiving the same, because it's the energy share. It's the energy you're putting out and I'm putting out, and it's kind of sharing and working together. And for some reason, you know, we connected, and the way we connected, it feels like we should be connecting more and consistently. So I, I'm drawn to your energy and what you provide as well. So you know, I feel like you're giving me all these compliments, but at the same time, I feel like you're so much into how we've connected that it's not all me, it's us, you know. And so I really appreciate everything that you're saying right now. And I'm just like, I'm so, my heart is filled with so much joy, and I want a teary eye right now. So gotta watch out. I gotta keep those tears back. The tears of joy or tears of happiness or tears of pain, they all come whenever I so
well,
yeah.
tears are always good. I was writing
Yes.
down my intentions and I started crying. It's like, oh my God, this is so profound. Everything. When you reflect on the past and reflect on this is the end of the year. It's been
Yes.
12 months of 2021. We've shared a bunch of things together, a journey with our coach teaching us and making us grow, connecting us. He's been definitely, I know Maria is our master connector, but I think David Fox has been our incredible international connector. Like, he
Yes.
connected with so many people that we just met at Mega Success this month. We shared an event, Doc and I, that it was just unbelievable. There you go, Mega Success. I have my you can see my bracelets over there, right there.
and
You have all the
and a little
bracelets.
secret, mine was commandeered, so Nini gave me this one so I could still feel the power of mega success
Yeah,
in my soul.
yeah. I have many of them because I've been to several Mega Successes, but that
Love
was
it.
the brand new one from a case, actually not worn except for me.
Oh wow.
I open
So,
it up. Yeah.
so I'm sharing Nini's power right here, her energy, the time that she felt
Yeah.
during Mega. That's what I love about it. See,
Yeah. No,
sharing.
it's
That's that
good.
right brain stuff we talk about, not manifesting,
Yeah, no. Action taking. Action
action taking. Yeah.
action taking. It's yeah, so it's interesting, we share so many events. We even, you share some of the silent disco events that we put up in here, 500 people, 300 people during the pandemic. That was incredible to uplift. People were coming together, and we really needed, I mean, you and I are probably similar in the sense that we want to be around crowds, and we want to make an impact, and we want to talk to people. We want to feel the energy of all the crowds around. And what do you think, thinking back of the whole year, what do you think was your highlight of relationships in general for this whole year? What was your highlight?
Wow. I definitely the highlight of relationships is connecting those relationships in the end at mega success. You know, I mean, I was connecting with people all year long, but being able to sit with them in person. I think I said this in another session, being able to sit down with people and break bread with them, eat, talk, communicate. You know, I mean, meeting you started that, you know, because it was kind of out of the blue. You're like, come on down and meet. And then not only we met the first time, we met a second time at the silent discos, and then we went out with Lisa Farmer and had went cafe hopping, and we actually started to really connect even more. And then this last time with Maria, we sat down and ate. And so these little sessions, you know, cafes and eating and getting together and connecting and sharing energy throughout the year. The highlight is when that, you know, has all come together, because it wasn't just us. It's been like this connection part where we're starting to connect with other people. And then we get in this circle when everybody's there, you know, and it's like, wow, to have that feeling, that power, and to be able to continue to inspire other people to grow while we're in that scenario. You know, I was telling Heather Joy Bassett, I believe that's her last name.
Yeah.
I'm still making sure I remember names. Heather Joy, I like to say Heather Joy. Heather Joy came to me with, this whole understanding of, how I perceived the world for a second through a body chart. And it came to my thought process that I must be some kind of amplifier and echo, because I liked being in scenarios where I can echo the positive energy, the collaborative energy, and just keep generating that energy out to other people so they continue to be inspired by it. And so it was something that came to me during Mega that kind of triggered me. Am I supposed to be an amplifier for this community? Is that what it, when I was, because I'm still trying to find my place as far as what I can do for the community, how I can serve better. And I feel like sending in my positive energy out was one of the best things I could ever do. And at Mega Success, I felt like I was really generating, and it was like circular, like I could send it out and it came right back so I could send it back out again. And it was just awesome. So
I
that's
felt
what I mean.
I felt like I grew younger. I felt like I
Yes.
reversed my age. I Yeah, I definitely did. Actually, I definitely did. And even like I got my period back. It's too am I, but
And you're in menopause, right? And you got it back. That's like, so you did go get younger, and maybe that's part of us staying alive longer, having that energy that keep, yeah, yeah,
it was just incredible. I think energy from other people is needed, and energy not just from females or not just from males, but from everyone together, where
yes.
everybody's open to learn about each other. Like those kind of events, those kind of environments are really conducive to slowing down that entropy. And
All identities working together to slow down that entropy,
also
because
finding, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and finding out about yourself, because when
yeah,
Heather asks you like, what about you, do you know this about yourself, and she came to me the same, like, do you know this, you know that I'm a manifestor like you know that we are like the 1% of the world, that so some of us are very small, that you have to do exactly what you're saying, be an echo, be an amplifier for others, be of service. And when she explains that and you find this about yourself, everybody is curious about yourself, everybody wants to know you, wants to know more. It actually helps you get to know you better, because you're like, oh my god, this is the impact that I have during the whole year, from you and me, from Clubhouse, right? Like we've
yes.
become these Clubhouse influencers and speakers, and people know us and they feel like they're close to us and they want to know more about us.
Mhm.
And when they ask us questions, it makes us ask those questions to ourselves. And if we haven't done, because maybe you
Yes.
have a curiosity question that you've never asked yourself from these people. And it's incredible knowing, I believe for sure that knowing more about yourself makes you help other people more.
Yes, and it helps you steer as a right brainer, it helps us steer our right brain in the right direction. So, as you were saying, you are lucky enough to be a manifester, and unfortunately, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, I like my position as a generator. I'm a generator. I'm in the 80%. However, I'm a different type of generator. Like there's certain sections that, like I was saying, to Heather, I think I'm an amplifier. She's like, your interpretation is strange. Well, my interpretation came with, of course, my understanding of I don't have that book over there, but my understanding of my birth time and my understanding of astrology as a Sagittarian, because how I see the world as a centaur, right brain centaur, and it's when we talk about that kind of stuff, people are like, oh, astrology is all over. Yes, okay, astrology is possibly a mythological presence for people. However, there is science in astrology as well when we talk about the planets and the magnetism and how atoms react and magnetic fields react with each other and how it reacts to us. We're part of this stardust, the same system that created everything created us as well. And so when I look at that, and I always tell people, yeah, everybody's talking about how ditzy they get around the moon, when the moon is full, but not realizing that that's all part of what we've been talking about in astrology,
Correct.
this idea that the moon is pulling at your brain and you're getting a little high, because your head is a little lighter. And so you're feeling things on this planet. Gravity on this planet is different for you. And so you see things differently. And so if we can steer our minds in the proper direction, whether it be when the moon is full or not, then we always find the path that we need, and we stay on that path, and we practice being on that path, because practice, as we know, doesn't make perfect, but it makes better. It makes us be able to grow better and get things better, to that point to where we get to that one point, that one day that we're doing it so well that we do hit it perfectly, and then that one perfect might be that Olympic gold medal that we win. It might be that award that we win. It might be that big sale that we win. It might be that opportunity to get lucky to be that billionaire, because it's not everybody can be a billionaire, but it takes luck and all the skills you put together, opportunity and luck together. So
Yeah. And it's not that the finish line is your best finish line. You can always surpass yourself. So it's only just that you got ahead of everybody to get to that finish line. Just
yes,
that. It doesn't mean that that is your maximum either. You can still go further. It just means that in a particular moment you got ahead of a bunch. And getting ahead of a bunch means that you created more prosperity for yourself and prosperity for others, because being ahead creates abundance for everything that you're doing, mastery in business, a mastery in athleticism, a mastery in speaking. It just gives you more access to resources for
yes,
yourself. And it doesn't mean that it's access only for you, it's access for you and those who are around you and that are going to be impacted by you. And how they're going to be impacted by you? Well, through social media as well, like right just here in this video, right? Like whatever we're going to share with others, they're going to listen to us forever. It's going to
yes,
live in the internet forever. It's going to remember us even when we pass, right?
even when we pass. And
So
like, I was
yeah.
talking to Cindy Stumpo last night, well, in her room.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you say that, because she asked us last night how much, she was just asking a random question, because everybody's idea of wealth is different. So she asked everybody to say, how much would be enough money for you to feel like you're wealthy?
Mhm.
And it was interesting, the difference in the numbers. Some people were, like we talk about, some people were like, oh, billion, 60 billion, and all these big numbers. And I'm like, I did do a big number, 100 million. I thought it was important that 100 million would help me and my sister, because I'm looking at it as two people. And which is funny, because she said the perfect amount was somebody else's number, which was 50 million. And so I was like, 50 million per each person is enough to be actually wealthy, because you can live forever off of 50 million.
Hmm.
You can't just, but that wasn't the point of it for me. It's, of course, generational wealth. So I'm thinking about my sister and my brother and their side of family. So I'm like, 50 million over there from what my sister's doing, and pass it through, and 50 million over here for what I'm doing with my mother and this side of family. And we can all, so I'm thinking about this whole process, and not realizing that 50 million is all we really need. And that's not that big of a number.
No.
You
And
know,
the
it's
question is, do you want 50 million in cash in the bank, or do you want a 50 million worth of property that generates 50 million a year?
Well,
So
that's what she was saying, just the cash part. Because if we just had the cash, I mean, we can do anything with that. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, 100 million of cash and property. I was mixing it up too. So
so what is it? That's interesting to ask. How would you feel when will you feel wealthy? Is it when you have assets, or when you have cash, or when you have health? And
hmm,
it's really interesting, right? Like if I have $1 more than everything that I need to live, and I have my health, I feel very, very wealthy. And I don't need to have 50 million to feel wealthy. And I think that's another distinction. You see, like,
well,
can we feel wealthy with zero?
yes, I can feel well, I can't say I can feel wealthy with zero, because I feel like on the other instance, it costs in some case to pay for medical. It costs, you see, so there's that opposite side, that you need the finances. So at zero, I don't think I can feel wealthy, but I can feel good about myself at zero, because I've been there. I've been to the bottom, lost it all, and went on my path back. I had to feel good about myself first. And feel like I had opportunity and the opportunity to do things in order to get there. And that takes being able to have some kind of mental wealth, I mean, in yourself, and know that you can accomplish things. That self-efficacy, comes from having some kind of wealth inside, because I know a lot of people that still are in the same place that I left them, and we're talking Skid Row. So it's interesting when I look at that from a presence of living on the streets in Los Angeles and coming back from that and now going for 7 degrees after having a full career, not just one, 3 different careers where I've been successful in. So it's kind of an interesting voyage backwards to come forward again to say, I'm even stronger than I was when I fell.
Exactly. And from me coming from Venezuela, as an immigrant to the US for so many years, I look at my parents' circumstance. They're still back there. My dad is a doctor, still practicing, 82-year-old doctor, but that just recovered from COVID.
And a scientist too, right?
Yes, but just recovered from
Just recovered
COVID.
from COVID. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And
I
he
mean,
was,
I'm glad he recovered, but I'm sorry to hear that he
yeah,
caught COVID. Yeah.
there were 100 doctors that died in his hospital, so he's pretty lucky. So
Wow.
it's really
Wow.
interesting. But when I compare myself, it's all relative, right? Like when you compare yourself, like even if you didn't have anything, the wealth is also, do you have enough energy to generate more wealth, right? So if you, even if you
Yes.
don't have the resources, but do you have the health and the energy to generate more wealth and the opportunity to generate that wealth? I think that's a very interesting way to put it in terms of gratitude and acknowledging how lucky we are, right? We have so many opportunities in this country, and the first world countries that give opportunity to people, and people in Venezuela don't have the opportunity to grow. They don't have opportunity to
No.
leave. They don't have opportunity to build because the inflation is too high. So what do they do? So compared to comparison to them, I always look at that. I always have my eyes looking back at that situation. Where people are really in the streets starving, like literally.
Yeah. And I
Um,
know some people who are actually somewhat wealthy in Venezuela, and they're having a hard time because of how the government has changed. I have a good friend that was here years ago with us, and that she has a house, and she's like struggling partially for a lot of different reasons. Domestic abuse and what's going on with COVID, and then a house with a person that's not really somebody you want to have it with. And I probably shouldn't be saying all this, but at the same time, I look at how can we help them get out of that scenario? How can we help people we care about and love to get away from that type of abuse? And it's challenging. Being a right brainer, that's one of the things that stands out. It's always like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? And yet, being a left brainer on a left brainer, it probably look at us like it's illogical to even think that, that we can do anything, So in some cases,
True, because I think a left brainer to look at it from the practical side, like, okay, this is what's going to happen if you do this help. It's not going to be, it's not going to generate the results. So if you look at it a practical, objective side, you really cannot weigh it this way because you will see that it's going to be less for you. But from a right brain's point of view of the emotions and the ideas, like how can you contribute to people that have gone through domestic abuse. I've been through domestic, emotional, and physical abuse in my life, my marriage. Well, when back when, but and that was one of the causes that was very important for me, to help other women. And I'm actually have to be after the call. I'm gonna go help a person that has been through going through that
um,
actually here in Hermosa Beach, and it really, I know where the boundaries are, to help them, as a right brainer where I am. And so it's important to extend our hand because we never know who is going to be there, who was there when we were down, right? So
yes,
when we are up and we have the means, we can't really have an objective left brain numbers like cold analysis. We can always have a heart, right? We can always balance our emotions, our brain, and our logic to decide, okay, how can I help? What can I do? Maybe a
yes,
word of encouragement. Maybe I can give them a lift. Maybe I can give them a phone call. And
yes,
what's important, I think, I was telling my friend this morning when I was talking to her, I was saying, you know what? You cannot do it alone. Sometimes these people think, I can do it. I can do it alone. And some other people tell them, yes, you can do it. You can do it. In fact, they can't do it alone. They have to be supported by a family, has to be supported by friends to keep them on that path. Because when you're
yes,
under abuse, you really don't know how to judge character, and you really don't know when, you don't have the discernment in a clear way. So
Yes.
you need other people to help you with that discernment and keep you on that track until you leave. But while you're in that track trying to get away from it, you don't see it. And any little thing that can be a little enticing to get back to it, you actually fall for it. And it's not your fault. It's really not your fault. It's just because you've been under abuse and under manipulation, psychological confusion, then you tend to be, it's not weak, but it's just the discernment is blocked. So
Well, I do agree with that. The discernment gets blocked dramatically. The part that really stands out to me though is that we as human beings are like that anyway. I mean, when we look at coaching, just the idea of coaching, we are the same exact way when it comes to coaching. So it's more of that coming out when we are abused, when we are blocked, because we're just letting things happen at that point. And so it's everybody needs this type of transformation. And I believe that we all kind of feel like we can do it by ourselves, but we all need each other. And we need each other to get through the bad times as well as the good times. We need each other as a community to all grow together. And any of us thinking that we can do it alone, anybody thinking that they are self-made, they didn't do it without anybody else's help. And so that's the most important part of relationships and how we build those relationships and how we grow. Left brain or right brain, we
without the,
all got to build them.
yeah, absolutely. Without the connections with JT Fox, with other people, then we cannot. I cannot invite you even to an event here unless I know these people that have an event that you can come to.
Yes.
Even just myself, I can't even ask you here unless I have another relationship that I can ask you to go to. So it's really, we're all depending on each other. We're all depending on each other, and we all have a responsibility with each other, especially during this pandemic that it seems to be extending and extending and there's no end.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a great thing. I'm really happy we're going through this time because it's really making us value our relationships, value the human connection, value things that we had forgotten. And it's a fantastic growth for everyone.
Yes.
Fantastic growth for everyone. So every challenge, every pain, every stress, it's so great for us. I love it. And when we are ready to say, I can't wait for the next breakup. I can't wait for the next pain, welcome it with like, yes, bring it on, bring it to me. That's when we're ready to grow. And that's when we're ready to get out of that spiral and out of that pattern, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I've always thought back to Cindy Stempo last night. She clicked on some things that I've been thinking about with JT's words, and I've been thinking about JT and I'm gonna actually put this in perspective. JT and Francie's word, and it really dawned on me something here as a business professional and why I've avoided my permafrost in avoiding going back into film, television, and production because at one point in time, after doing that as a business and walking away from it, I look back at connecting with different people and attempting to get them to do certain roles. And I realized that it doesn't work the same way, or it not necessarily doesn't work the same way. You realize that people grow and change. And so JT was talking, or was it JT was talking about this originally? Yeah, be happy, or somebody was talking about being happy to see people grow in their business. I think it was Steve Eck. It was Steve Eck. He was talking about being happy to have people grow in his company, and when they grow in his company, leave his company and offering people what they need or what they're asking for as far as payment so that they work harder for you, which I've already started to do with a couple of people I'm connecting with again to make sure we do some productions. So the weirdest thing that Francie was saying was A players and B players. And so here's this connection that came around, and I was like, okay, I'm only looking for the B players, well, A players mostly, and B players, not looking for any C players. So in the process of looking for A players and B players, I was like, well, sometimes you have these B players and A players who just kind of don't see the path, and like, how do you make that work? And so Cindy Semple was talking about last night. She's like, I go on my job sites and people just ask me stupid questions. And I mean, they're only stupid questions because they asked me that the last time we did the job, and the last time we did the job before that, and the last time we did the job before that. And it's like, Don't you know what the answer is already at this point? You know, it's not a stupid question. It's not a stupid question, but if you already know the answer, why are you continually asking the question instead of, like, for instance, you come on the job site and you look around and you see that it's something, instead of saying, do you want me to do this? Say, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. What do you think? It's just a different approach. It's not about asking, hey, to make sure you're okay and do it right in the right box. It's about saying, I know that this is necessary at this point. I should activate it and make sure that this is what they want along the way. I know that's what they're trying to do, but okay.
But that's a mentality of, it's a certain mentality from the American business culture that some people have been encouraged. But
Yes,
I'm thinking we have been trained, and a lot of people have been trained to just follow odd orders, make sure you check with your boss. So at which point it really is that maybe they are an A player and they would like to have take the initiative, but actually because they've been trained to ask the boss, be a subordinate, be respectful of the boss. Maybe they actually are blocked from that initiative. So maybe they would have the initiative, but all their lives they've been told, you better be very humble and kind of soft spoken and not be so out there because you may lose your job. So I think that's also, we have to evaluate when that is coming from there, right?
exactly.
Because
And I think also
I'm
that
not,
other side.
yeah.
Well, and I think also that other side, evaluating that and realizing that, okay, I can't get upset if that's the way that is. I need to go ahead and accept that that's the way that is and work with that person in that way. And I still build what I do and I still help them grow. I think sometimes we realize, oh, no, I can't work with this person. I'm just going to, you know,
Yeah, guide
and
them and
if
encourage
they're doing a great job, encourage them, keep them, still doing a great job. So, like you're saying, yeah,
and ask them questions. If somebody's asking you the same question 10 times, don't answer that, not answer it again, right? You just ask them the question back, like, do you remember that you asked me this question? I just want to make sure. Just not to insult, but just you can remind them, like, hey, I remember you asked me this question. Do you remember my answer? Do you think it's the same circumstance? But teach them. And then go
yeah,
make them go through the analysis. So ask them, do you remember this is the same circumstance? What do you think of this circumstance is different than the other one that you think you're going to get a different answer from me this time? So
that's
that's
funny because that's what she did, and she still got the same question the next time around. So it's just funny. That's the funny part about it because it still might happen. you know
yeah.
However, we still work with it, we still working, and she, like she does, she still works with them, she still figures out ways to work with them. She was just saying that sometimes you get those employees who keep doing that over, and it's not about firing them, because yes, be slow to hire, quick to fire. It's about building that relationship and understanding that relationship so that you know how to make it work. And if they're really good at what they do, hey, work with it. Work if that happens, okay, so be it. That's the way it's going to happen.
If
And
that's
that's what she was saying.
the
Yeah.
only issue that they have, they're going to ask the same question. Well, like, what the hell?
Okay.
If they're going
Yeah.
to do the same thing, if they're going to do a good job, right? If the results are there, then you can put up with certain things. It's like, which battles are you going to fight today? Like, you're going to pick your battles,
Yeah.
and you're going to say, I remember, like, even like, if you can think about it in a marriage, right? Are you going to argue about home chores, instead of just enjoy life? So you don't need to argue about home chores, just distribute. And if somebody drops the underwear on the floor, just pick it up. That's it.
It's a
You know,
team effort.
pick it up. There's
Yeah.
no problem with joy. There's Japanese saying, I think, I can't remember what is the I can't remember the name, but it's something that's called leaving the breadcrumb. There's a word that represents, like, when you make a mistake in the house and you make a mess
Hmm.
and the other person has to pick it up and has to fix it. There is a word in Japanese that says that when you take that away and the person is not there, they're not leaving those breadcrumbs. They're not leaving the
Oh.
dirt. They're not leaving. So how
Oh.
painful would be to not have
Have
them.
the person there.
So when that knows when the mess is not there, that means the person is not there. So be
Yes.
grateful that the person is there to leave the breadcrumbs, to leave the underwear all over, to have a mess. Not to say that, you should accept the mess, of course, but it's just like to appreciate and not get worked out for the little things in life,
Yeah.
that actually you appreciate that the person is alive, that the person is there with you. So what
Yeah.
is more important? I think I can remember what book I was reading. I just forgot it right now. But it was talking about that word. So this lady, it was a recent book. I can't remember now. But anyway, she was pissed off because the husband was always leaving the breadcrumbs after the toaster, and he was cleaning and cleaning. Then the husband kind of went to the hospital, and there were no more breadcrumbs. And she was like, he's not here, and so just feeling the void of the presence of the person, right? So
Yeah.
you should be grateful for everything. And if you have a challenge, oh my God, it should be very, very grateful, because that challenge is going to address something that you're going to fix, and you're going to be optimizing something for your business, for your life. So that's really good to be grateful for any challenge, even for the pain in the ass things. It's just really.
And I think that's what one of the things I pulled out of that. I was like, you know what? The business would still be running. Why am I, it's part of that, that solopreneur thing, going that transitioning back and going, well, I've got to worry about what everybody's going to do. And I may not find the right people for the right spot, but oh well, oh well, keep going, keep doing, because not doing it is not going to make it happen.
Yeah.
So, and that's where a lot of people fall into, like, oh, I can't do it again because, or I can't do it because can't is a choice.
That's right. And it just keep on going, keep on going. And just don't say that you can't. Just say, how I can't do this. Like saying I can't do it, you won't be able to do it. So repeating yourself, the words that you say to yourself, the words that you keep on. What are the words that one of the reflections in the document I sent you was, what are the predominant thoughts of 2012 for you?
Yeah.
The good
What are
ones.
the top three things, or no, just, yeah, top three things you discovered about yourself in the last 12 months?
Yeah, the good ones and the bad ones, because they may be good ones, but they may be bad ones. What are the good things that you told yourself? And so, what really worked, just keep doing it. What didn't work, do not do it. And but you have to identify what didn't work. If you don't think about what did not work, oh, this didn't work. Eating this didn't work. Maybe feel sick.
Stay positive.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what everybody thinks. It matters what I do, and write something. I've been, for the past, since 2015, those are my reminders every day on the phone. And those are three things that I tell myself consistently. Yeah.
Exactly. What you tell yourself is very important for your success every day. And it's not about your monthly activity, it's about your daily activity.
Daily activity.
Your daily routine is what's going to make you success at the end of the year. So, what are you going to put in your daily routine for next year that is going to bring you more success than this year, than the success that you had this year? I think
That's a
I'm
good
gonna add
question.
I'm gonna add one more hour of study in the morning for JT's courses. Before I had a routine like that where I had like 1 hour, half 30 minutes of the wealth workout for wealth workout X, whatever number it was, and 30
Mhm.
minutes of another one. And this year I did not
Yeah.
do that. I just, of course, I consumed a lot of the courses. I consumed some of the material, but I didn't have a consistent every morning 1 hour of study. I think I'm gonna, because there were a lot of movements, a lot of just setting up the whole year. But now that I'm here, stable in one place, I think I can set up my study course, my study routine in the morning. What are you adding?
Well, what I've been doing for that is because I've been revamping how I want to do that, because I know how I am when it comes to studying. It's kind of weird. I'll take in the information, synthesize the information, put it into play in my life, and then I'll forget certain areas. So I got to go back and bring them back in and double check. So a part of it in me is organizing the process so that I keep those systems going consistently. And because I'm been in school, it's a little bit easier for me to keep systems and processes going. I kind of have a habit of putting certain things in place and then saying, okay, I got to get this done in this way. And sometimes they fluctuate on the timelines, especially when we talk about writing and rewriting. That's, if you're talking about any journalistic writing or any book writing or any paper or journal writing, because that's what we write for journals, that kind of stuff, the rewriting and stuff, the deadlines always stretch. But when it comes to like video projects or other things that I do, because I spend a lot of time in multimedia, those things, we can cut off those deadlines. Sometimes we don't want to. And so always paying attention to how I can avoid the perfection and just launch things. Because sometimes we get stuck in the perfection, when we get analysis paralysis, they call it. And when we get stuck in that perfection mode and trying to make something perfect, we never put it out. But I know this, I tell everybody this all the time. The last computer you bought, when you bought it and brought it home, didn't you have to update it?
Right.
That means they didn't wait for it to be perfect to get it out to you. So
Right.
why are we waiting to get stuff perfect before we put it out?
Right.
And so that's one thing that I want to remind myself, to keep putting stuff out, to keep implementing. And that's part of JT's millionaire wealth workout.
Yeah.
The
Done is
wealth workout, yeah,
yeah.
is about speed of implementation and
Done
taking
is
those
good.
ideas, practicing those ideas, and then putting or implementing those ideas, or deliberating about them to see if they're good ideas, and implementing them before they become bad ideas. And what I mean by that is, when we first think of the idea, it's a great idea. When we procrastinate and don't do anything, it becomes a good idea. And then as we gradually sit there and procrastinate, it becomes a bad idea when it could have been a good idea the whole time. But it's our procrastination that keeps us from making it a great idea.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Because in the moment,
Thank
maybe,
you, JT Fox, for that
yeah, in the
one.
moment it may be good, but later it won't be applicable. It's like just an idea right there in the moment. And then done is better than perfect. Jay Shetty, my other coach, he says 70%. He puts things out at 70% of approval, 70% done. At 70% done, 70, 75, it's good to go, and they don't go anymore. If it's 75% of the video that they're taking out, 75% is just done, gone.
I like that. I just wrote it down.
Yeah,
Because
70.
I didn't have a percentage. I didn't have a measurable percentage to actually quantify when I should put something out. I just I think I've kind of pushed it to 80, but 75 is if it's at 75, I could just do that and just go, and that's, if that works for me, then I'm gonna try it.
Yeah,
That's something new. But I
25.
think I've been pushing for 80, 90%, and then I'm like, oh, it was never gonna be 100%, so stop.
Yeah, no, but
That's not good.
80 is too much, right? So just 70 something, and it's just good, go. And we can always obsess, even like, especially for us that are on camera, for us that are, our voices has to be perfect. Like we are obsessed with our voice, we're obsessed with our look, our camera, we're production people, we're video people. Like, oh, I have a sit here, or I have something there. Like, no, just go for it. The most important thing is the intention that we have, the deliverance, like, are we clear enough, do we have the right message for other people, and that's it. And are
Yeah.
we looking at, while we're paying attention, are we giving all our energy to that particular moment? Are we not distracted, like, oh, my phone is ringing here, my phone is, as long as we give them all our energy and effort and focus, and give it our best intention, our best
Mm-hmm.
good intention for everybody to work. You were saying something like, it's all about how we can serve and how we can help others be the best, in our employees and our people that work for us, our service providers, even the person that comes to deliver the mail. Are we really
Yes.
being of service to them? Like, how can I be the best receptionist of my mail? Can I leave you with something? I was doing something the other day, delivering something, and there was a basket. Like, oh, for all those delivering something, here, have any. So she had water, she had bars, she had
That's beautiful.
crackers, and it's beautiful, right? So she's being of service of me when I'm being of service of her. So I was really grateful for that. So
Yeah.
it's always important to be of service for others. Doesn't matter who it is, even the dog walker. I have doggy treats for the dog walkers and the neighbors around it. I give them water and I give them treats, even though I don't have any dog or cat. So it's
That's
important,
beautiful.
just to be of service and give our best intention, give our best thing. And so we've almost, well, it's like almost the time is almost up, and I wanted to wrap it up, and then this for now, because we're gonna have more of these conversations.
Yeah,
Right.
because we could talk for hours about this, you
We
know.
have gone everywhere, from horoscope to business to personal life to marriage and domestic abuse and doggy treats. So
And next time we're most likely going to pull in some left brainers to
yes,
balance off. You know, we got a few on
yeah,
our list that are willing to jump in and join us.
yeah,
So I love it.
yeah. We're gonna bring our resident left brainers so that they can chime in on our right brain and throw us off completely.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
I will.
But I think one of the major points that you've made here is that it's up to us to stand up and take responsibility for our future. And if we don't take that responsibility to take the action, to take those steps, then we're just going to stand in place. And so, where do we want to go? As right brainers, we want to grow. So,
Yeah,
and
I like that. As right brainers, where do we now go? As right brainers, we want to grow.
I
We
love it.
all want to grow. You want to
We
grow.
all want to
I
grow.
want to grow. One of my mottos from my business is I grow, you grow. So I know that we grow and you guys grow too. So when we share our thoughts, we go through all these spectrum of ideas, and we all in the end, what our focus is for growth. Our focus is to teach you
Mhm.
ways to expand your life, live the life that you want and deserve, grow your abundance, your wealth, your health, your mind, your relationships. So we're here, and please connect with us, connect with Duck, connect with me, go into our socials and follow us, send us messages. We are happy to answer questions, interact with our chat boxes, and tell us if the chat box works or not. Just go in there, go into our clubhouse rooms, interact with us, call us, and we're happy to open rooms with you to listen to collaborate and to be your coaches as well and guide you to the better life that you really dream of for 2022. Is going to be amazing. So, Doc, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nini.
And I can't wait to see you again.
Very soon before, yeah, actually before the end of the year and after the end of the year.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. All
Indeed.
right. So, see you. And Doc is out, and I'm out.
Yeah, that's it. She said it. You heard it here first.